My name's David Capina. I'm a native Philadelphian, born and raised. Any regrets? Probably, probably could have been a better to my wife. I was really kind of into myself when I was married, and probably could have been more outgoing, but that's not my nature, I guess.
Ricardo Shepard. I'm a senior in the communications department at Cabrini College. My views on the homeless, there are people who are less fortunate. They don't have as many resources open to them to help them necessarily like get back on their feet. I don't like to see homeless people on the street. I feel bad because, I don't feel anybody should be without any kind of home to house themselves, food, or any kind of income that's necessary in the society to, get by. For those who are homeless and can't do for themselves, that help should be provided for them in that sense. And for those who can do, opportunities need to be opened to them. Some of the negative stereotypes that come with being homeless is that a lot of people feel that they're homeless because they didn't try hard enough or they didn't want to do better for themselves, but that's not always the case. That may be a case for a small percentage of them, but a lot of them, like a lot of people back in the Vietnam War, when they came home, job opportunities weren't open to them, and the people in the United States basically hated them for what they did, and a lot of opportunities weren't open, and they weren't able to provide for themselves, so the only thing left was, to be out on the streets. But stereotypes are that everybody, they don't want to do for themselves, or they don't want to get better. They just want to stand on the corner and beg people for money, when that's not always the case. Some people had jobs. Things happen. Things happen in life. You never know what's going to happen. Some people lose their house in a fire and they end up outside, and they can't provide for themselves. Maybe they have a bunch of kids and they just don't have the kind of setting, the environment to work, or maybe they lost their job due to things of that nature. But those are some of the stereotypes that come with being homeless.
No call, no show for 5 days. I was in the hospital with a crushed larynx. I couldn't speak. So they let me go. So I couldn't find another job, and here I am. I've been here for 18 months now. They're telling me they can't give me housing because I don't have an alcohol problem, I don't have a drug problem, and I don't have a psychiatric problem. So they can't help me with housing. So I'm stuck in limbo right now. Now, 2 weeks ago, I had an offer to get housing if I said that I was an alcoholic. Then I would have to take alcohol rehab program 4 or 5 days a week. I don't need to go do that. And I'm not going to lie to get housing. I'm going to wait till my doctor says, all right, you're not disabled anymore, because I have a fractured T-bone in my back when I fell on the ice 2 Februaries ago. I'm still in pain from it. I'm going to physical therapy. I just switched therapists because the first one wasn't working. I just switched to aqua therapy, started last week. I'll go twice a week down to that, and that's helping me. I already went one time, and it helped me so much already. So I'm looking forward to them fixing my back. I'll be out of pain, then I'm going to go back to doing what I do best, construction work and bartending. So it's just a matter of time. As soon as my back heals up, I get a job, and I'm out the door. And I never want to see this place again.
Worked all my life, once I graduated high school back in '66. Middle American, middle income, the whole works up to about maybe 6 or 7 years ago. And my wife got sick and complications of diabetes. Eventually wound up dying. I really got depressed. And just about that same time as she died, the job I was working at, and I was there for like 10 years, decided they were going to close the plant down. So I was laid off. You know, I was like, 60 some years old. Nobody was really hiring 60-year-olds when they can go out and get, 20-year-old. So I wound up going on unemployment, till that ran out after a year. And I was, like I said, I was depressed. And eventually I got where the unemployment ran out and I didn't really care. And I wound up being kicked out of my apartment, foreclosed on. That's how I wound up on the street for about a year, like I said. So they had a real bad snowstorm, and the cops came around and said, well, you really can't stay out in this weather. And then they told me to go down to what they called a ridge shelter at the time, that down here on North Broad Street. I guess I was there for about a year. The shelter, I had no idea about anything worked, how to get welfare, And I sat there for about a year till somebody finally noticed that nobody's been talking to me about how to get out of this shelter.
Before I became homeless, my perspective of the homeless people were completely different than what they actually are. Everybody's a human being. Everybody goes through ruts in life, some longer than others, some more severe than others. I think the majority of people in here, nobody wants to be in here. You're not going to find many happy people in this place. Everybody's striving towards getting out. Everybody has that memory of being successful on the outside at one point or other. They have these memories still in them where they want to get back there.
Before I became homeless, I don't think I ever knew any homeless people. If I came across them, I didn't realize it. To me, they were just another body walking by me on the street. I didn't even think that they were homeless. I didn't take notice of them, never paid them any mind. But now I walk around and I see it all over the place. All over the place. You can't walk 20 feet down through Center City without somebody asking you for money.
Right.
Every corner has somebody sitting on it with a sign in front of them. And it's gotten worse over the years. It's gotten worse. It's like an epidemic now. Somebody's got to do something. These people need help.
Something important that people in society don't realize is that they don't view homeless people as people. A lot of people throw around the words vagabond or bum or hobo, and that kind of dehumanizes them. But we have to remember that they're still people. They lack, some of them lack the opportunities that we have. Like, for example, if I went through addiction or something, I have a huge family who would, support me, but some people don't have that. So when they get themselves into certain situations, it's hard for them to recover from that.